are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're listening to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. Either you are, or I'll be skipping rope with your entrails. Ta-ta.
This is the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, your source for lore and so much more. Adventurers, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. You've got me, Tom, and no Lotus this week. He was lost in one of the realms of oblivion somewhere. I don't know what happened, but taking his place, we've got our patrons. Actually, he's dadding it up right now with a sick child, so he's taken this week off. But the patrons have shown up to fill his shoes. I don't want to make a joke about glass armor shoes, maybe. I don't know. But welcome back, Rob and Falcon and Mintaka. You guys are here because it's not only the end of the month and you guys are patrons and you show up every month, but we are talking about not the way that we want Elder Scrolls 6 to be, because who knows, there's a Xbox big announcement thing coming up in like the next week. And there's a very small chance that we get some sort of update or trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. But we're going to talk about what we would do to actually ruin Elder Scrolls 6. What are the things that if you were somebody that was like a plant on the inside and you were a game developer working for Bethesda, what things would you want to implement into the game in order to make it fail? What are the worst things that you could possibly do to the game? And I think we're going to come up with some really fun ideas. But welcome back, all of you. So glad to have you all here. Here, let's kick this off. Who would like to share an idea? We've got Rob, we've got Falcon, we've got Mintaka. I know, Falcon, you threw out an idea. Mintaka, we were joking about things. Rob wanted to talk about something else, but we're going to save that for a future episode, maybe. But he's a good sport, and he's
throwing that under the bus. Yeah, Rob doesn't want to be here.
It's fine. No, man.
Rob is the worst.
You're a good sport. Yeah. So, Falcon, you had some good terrible ideas. I guess that's the best way to phrase it. You want to share one of them?
I guess to make Elder Scrolls 6 worse, expand past the 10 playable races.
Oh, you think that? Okay. Interesting. You didn't bring this one up already.
I did not.
So this is interesting because I expected you to say something else, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point in the episode. But so this is an interesting concept because this is something people talk about a lot.
I think 10 is almost already too crowded. If they try to introduce CLs or whatever, be it, just trying to fit that in through all the character interactions, all the lore they'd have to introduce throughout the game. I think it is too much. I know they can't because they've already went to 10. I wouldn't mind if they pared it down.
Really? Okay. So you think
a couple.
Is this from a developer standpoint?
Like genocide.
I'm always down for that. Obviously, Argonians are,
just Falmer somebody completely, and sorry, this took place 500 years in the future, and the Bosmer, we just turned.
Bosmer did not do well,
actually.
Or whoever.
By the way, Khajiit, they're gone, and we're not going to explain.
Not a thing.
Not a thing anymore.
We turned them into underground
are
zombies.
gone, and they never say anything.
Beast races, they never existed. Whatever happened to them? Who knows? They're just gone.
Or in the far future, maybe a lot of the human races have interbred to the extent that they no longer consider themselves separate, culture, ethnicity, whatever.
The same now.
Yeah. Well, because you didn't used to be able to play an Imperial as a playable race,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
For
and orcs and Imperials were added in. Yeah.
Maybe they were just you differentiate between Imperials and Nords, weirdo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be weird. So, okay, so is
more
this...
than normal?
I want to dig into, Falcon, I want to dig into your perspective on this. Are you saying one or both of these things, that it would bloat the game from the development standpoint, so now you have even more different voice lines and interactions and subplots and things like that, or that from the user standpoint, there's just now too many options and that's just too much?
I think user side and lore is the bigger issue. Development, they've had since 2011. They can keep doing work. They'll keep going. I don't care too much at this point. Who cares?
Okay, so that was too much. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that because this tends to be the sort of thing a lot of people talk about or ask about. They're like, if I was to add a race, I want to be able to be a sea elf, or I want to be able to be, I don't know, an Akaviri or a Slode or something.
I mean, I fully disagree. I think most people will always be asking to add more. And I mean, there's the idea of like what people want, what people think they want, and those are different things.
Yeah.
But everyone wants more races added to the game. That's what everyone asks for.
I think the argument there is what you said of a lot of people don't, I guess, know what they want.
Yeah.
Like you say you want it, and that makes it, a lot of times what you want will make your enjoyment of whatever, be it less fun, less enjoyable.
Yeah. I think that there's one thing about people is that they definitely, like, their desires tend to be additive. Like if they have something in the past, they don't want to get rid of it.
Right.
Even if it would be technically more streamlined, whatever, right? But definitely in terms of what people say or think they want, people don't like to have stuff taken away, is one thing I've learned. They want to have more.
Yeah, and I think somebody like Todd Howard would agree with you that, and many game designers, in fact, this is a conversation I see in RPG circles, I see it in MMO circles, about how oftentimes the things that the audience are asking for are actually not really beneficial to them because they don't understand the full scope of what that means. And somebody like Todd has often preached this idea of, we need to pare things down more. And that becomes one of the complaints. The evolution, we were talking about this in the pre-show, the evolution of the series is one which things have consistently been streamlined and sometimes goes too far in certain directions. And then people get upset that this feature is no longer available. But I would also argue that they've been right more times than they've been wrong, because the series continues to grow and reaches more players, which keeps it alive. And that doesn't mean that every time they've done the right choice in paring something down, but sometimes it does work, I think is the point, right? But you're right. Like human instinct is like, no, we want more. But at some point you run into, like, it's the idea of, what's the phrase where you have so many options, then you can't make a choice.
Oh, decision paralysis.
Decision paralysis. You run into things like that too. So I can see that argument as well.
Yeah, I sometimes have that issue myself in gaming, and I've noticed it more and more as I get older, is that I'm just like, man, I don't know. And then I spend like an hour and a half in character creation, which maybe you do that anyway. But sometimes when I have fewer choices, I don't overthink things as much, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. In fact, every RPG I've played in recent years, I've gone back and restarted a character to try a different race or a different class or a different build, because I'm never convinced that this is really the build I want to commit to for the next 100 hours or whatever. And that does become a problem. So I could totally see that.
I have completed Baldur's Gate and 700. Baldur's Gate 3 and 700 trying out, and it's of course the human male, because you have the
Mr. John Balder.
Yeah.
John
that's a
Balder.
basic guy.
Does he also
human,
have no hair?
Male fighter.
I mean,
guy who
not to get too off topic, but Baldur's Gate is named after Balderan, a human male.
Balderan, right.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. Well, I think this is an interesting idea to start with, Falcon. Who would like to share the next idea? What else would you add to Elder Scrolls 6, or make sure Elder Scrolls 6 has in it if you wanted it to fail, if you wanted it to be terrible?
I think a great way to set it up is to release a teaser trailer, and then just do nothing for a decade.
Right. Oh wait, that sounds too real.
Hold on.
So that's probably a good way to sabotage anything that you're planning from there forward.
We'll just get the community. There's a timeline out there in the multiverse somewhere where they didn't do that. I have to wonder what the conversation online is about that, about why haven't we gotten anything? What is going on?
That's the one thing that stopped me from killing somebody at this point.
Is the teaser trailer?
Yeah.
it's kept your humanity intact so far.
I would have hunted Lotus by this point.
Oh no, Lotus. It's a good thing he's not on the show tonight. Mintaka, do you have an idea for something that you would add to totally ruin the game?
I think it would be really good if you could only continue the plot in certain directions if you just buy a DLC.
Oh man.
Like you reach a certain point in the Thieves Guild, and they're like, well, do you want to kill Mercer Frey or whatever the equivalent situation is? And it's like only $11.99.
Yeah, you've uncovered the secret conspiracy. Get ready to do what you need to do.
Cut it off in the middle of the conversation. The guy's like, you never would have guessed it was me who. And then you have to do a microtransaction.
There's like a Windows pop-up that goes boing, and it says, to continue this quest,
please
insert your credit card.
I do think we could spend the next hour talking about all the various ways capitalism has ruined and could ruin a video game, but we can probably just umbrella all of that.
Yeah.
Any microtransaction situation is probably going to cause
that's where most of mine were coming from. Is like all of the ways.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You guys are both right. Like, we could this whole episode we could just go into the nuances of microtransactions and how all of that could ruin it. But I think the more interesting question then is, what form of transaction, just general transaction, is tolerable? Are we expecting Elder Scrolls 6 to have traditional DLC that comes out like a year later, opens up a new zone, you go do it with a new quest line? Is that fine? What about the Creation Club stuff? Do we expect maybe the DLC will be a Creation Club thing? Are we expecting that? I mean, they've talked about how this is supposed to go for the next decade. Are we
expecting or are we hoping? What's the question?
Well, where is that boundary? Like, where is the boundary? Horse armor is too far.
I'm expecting a lot of DLC. I'm hoping that we can learn by leading by example, and we were just talking about Baldur's Gate. I'm going to keep bringing up Baldur's Gate all the time. It's what I do now. They just released the game. They don't charge you anything more. They charged you for the game. They gave you a whole game. And they realized after, a lot of people really love this game and they also wanted these extra things. Let's throw that into the game that they already bought and just let them have it.
Right. Well, what about when it comes to large content, the way that they've done expansions in the past? Is that okay?
Add those into the game.
So you're expecting that they totally even buck the trend that they started back in Morrowind and decide we're going to just do.
What do we hope for or what do we expect? I'm expecting a lot of DLC.
Well, so I think they'll do 2 to 5 actual DLC and then 7,000 Creation Club DLC for $1.99.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the question then is, what isn't necessarily what you hope for or what you fear, but where is the line? What is tolerable? What version of this do you go, well, that's okay. I'll pay an extra $30 for this expansion. I'm okay with that. Or I'm okay with these smaller transactions in the content creation, the club, the content, whatever that was called. It fell out of my brain again. Creation Club. Because I'm happy to support the modding community because they do hard work. Like, where is that line for each of you? Let's start with Rob because I know your general feeling here, but at what point are you willing to pay for more?
Yeah, it's all available on the high seas for me.
You're just gonna okay, all right. So you're not paying for more. So if you're like, oh, I love this game, and they're like, here's the expansion, it's $30 or $40, and you're like, yeah, I'm not paying you for that, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
I have bought in DLC in the past. I probably would. I don't like to publicly announce on a podcast hey, Bethesda, go ahead and charge me every nickel and dime you can.
Yeah.
That's not but I don't know. I guess if there was a very story packed lots of content in a DLC, I could see paying up to $15.
Okay. So that's your line. That's fair. That's totally fair. Mintaka, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably would feel kind of in the same boat of I prefer DLC that is a lot of story and lore stuff. I don't love little piecemeal things, although I do love my undamageable, my invulnerable dwarven horse.
Okay.
So that's the one exception.
Sure.
Because I don't want to be hassled by wolves and such when I'm riding across the land.
We should not expect to pay money for that. We want that in the game. We don't want to pay money for it.
Yeah, right. I don't want to do any little transactions. I don't really love buying stuff for $1.99 here and there for kind of just mild aesthetic things, it doesn't really appeal to me as much. I like large DLCs, and I'm willing to pay more for something that's significant in terms of story and lore.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not so much the cost as much as it is what you actually get. So I guess like the value of it.
Mhm.
But I prefer bigger DLCs. So like if there's going to be DLCs, which I would assume, given the trend, I'd expect it. That's acceptable to me if it's something that really like for example, the Dragonborn DLC of Skyrim. Like I thought
Right.
that was a really valuable addition just because of what it introduced.
Mhm.
So I thought that had a high value in terms of like what you pay for what you get. But I don't love like kind of smaller, superficial things as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather something that kind of dives and they work harder on it for longer. If it
Yeah.
has to take longer to come out, that's fine. I'd rather that than something like the Creation Club, personally.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Barky in chat asks if we think Creation Club will be in it. Absolutely. Like that is,
Yeah.
there is
Yeah,
no
almost certainly will be.
99.9% chance. Yeah.
We should have the
Yeah.
expectation where we need to pay money to that for it to be useful. I think that should be something available where people can create these interesting mod and customizations to the game and just have it available for everyone to have. And there can be options where people are like, oh, I accept donations, and some of these are, oh, I will only offer this to people who are willing to pay for it, and those people probably just won't get as many.
Yeah. Well, from what we know right now, the modders still have the option and will have the option to either put things on the Creation Club store if they want to charge for things, but they can still just put them up for free. In fact, if you load up the Creation Club right now, there's free stuff on there. Like there's things you can just download, or you could use, the Nexus mods or whatever. And having that option totally makes sense. For me, the line is, I think, Mintaka, I think you hit it on the head. It's the quality thing. If I want, and I also agree with you. I don't want to spend $1 or $2 for like little things like, oh, that armor looks cool, I'll spend $2 on it. I would rather spend $15 on a massive pack that comes with lots of different armor and weapons. And I would be more willing to spend that $15 if I know that there's like, it's like the Nintendo seal of quality, but it'd be like the Bethesda seal of quality, which I'm sure is going to make people laugh right now. But if they were able to guarantee that this 100% works with the game, there's like it will not bug things out, everything works, and it's at the same quality that the base game came out with, then I feel better about spending that money, right? Because it's like a stamp of quality. So there's the real value there. Like, I get that.
I also like the one thing about the Creation Club that is a little weird to me personally is the sort of, isn't it lore approved in a way? Like, is this canon stuff or not?
Right.
Like, I get it that they can't possibly say, no, it's not. Because then everyone would be like, well, I'm not getting that. Some people would be like, well, I'm never touching that. But then if they say it is, that's quite the commitment for certain things.
I would love to know, like on the store right now, the Skyrim one or the Fallout 4 one or whatever, I would love to know when it's a community made thing that it gets the lore master seal of approval or something like that on it.
I wish.
Right.
I would love that.
Yeah, we know
I
somebody.
They've talked about like how mods impact the lore and the canon. I think they've had that. Like your experience is your own.
Yeah, but I would much rather have our lore master has reviewed this and it fits 100% into canon, or it doesn't. Sure. It doesn't, but that's okay because if you want to play like this is an alternate reality version of this world, that's fine too.
Just say if it is or not, so I don't have to like be. I'm sure that most players aren't like stressing out over whether the armor is lore accurate. But I guess by being on this show, I'm a little bit It's an inherent biased position, right?
we get like a Kinsey scale of accuracy to the canon.
Yeah, something like
like I'm a 3.
Yeah. Just is or isn't. Is or isn't canon is fine for me. And as a guy who does a lore podcast, that's really helpful. This is one of the reasons why I'm apprehensive to dive into extra content and even like massive mods. It's one of the reasons why I didn't play the big update for Fallout. What was the one that based in the UK? I forget what that was called.
I don't
Just
pay
like
attention to
London
US
or
memes.
whatever.
Yeah, follow London. That's right. Is that like you like if I get immersed in that and I spend 100, 200 hours in it, and then 2 years from now I go, oh yeah, this thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was from a mod. That's not real. Like, or at least it's not canon. It's real, but it's not canon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Then-
it can be hard to sort of like keep yourself for so long in a mindset of like this isn't real, whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this isn't canon,
right.
and then maybe down the line it's contradicted. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think
It is a hairy
keeping your
position.
own mindset like trapped in that path of thought is contradictory to how the lore works.
For
Personally.
Elder Scrolls specifically, because of the whole like unreliable narrator thing and dragon breaks and that.
Yeah. I don't know enough about Fallout to say it absolutely fits in this as well, but I thought that there was a little bit more of freedom in the implications of the storytelling as well. But yeah, like they say, first and foremost, your experiences in the game are the most canon, and then everything that you read and
Right.
from there is secondary to that experience.
Right.
So I think you kind of have to approach the lore of the Elder Scrolls with a very open mind and understand that there's a lot of flexibility to it. And if you're always approaching everything and how canon is this, then you're kind of going about the world in the wrong way, you know?
Yeah. And that's a lot easier to do as a player than it is as somebody who's
Yeah.
creating content.
Sure.
Who's going
I
to
guess
get
there's
Yeah.
that.
like people commenting on it and be like, you idiot, how can you possibly do this podcast?
Right. Is
You
this
don't
verifiable? Can I fact check
Right.
this? Blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Right.
Doesn't matter to me, but sure, as someone who runs the show, you might need to fact check this.
That's something that's a very small thing. That's something that affects only a very small group of people compared to the majority of the players. So it's
True.
really not a major issue. It's just something pertinent to me. But Falcon, let's move on to you. We've been chatting about this for a little bit. Where is the line for you when it comes to purchasable stuff? What is okay? What is not okay? What are you willing to spend money on?
Anniversary Edition and Horse Armor, I think, are bad, even though, I bought them, whatever.
Okay.
Oh.
So you bought them, but you didn't like that you bought them.
Of course. I'm trapped by Todd Howard. He,
Sure.
he owns me at this point. Who
Sure.
cares?
So how do you feel if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and they're like, okay, a $30 expansion pack or $40 expansion pack, new zone, it's basically Dragonborn, but it's a whole new thing. Are you cool with that? Are you buying it? Are you buying it, but you regret it? Where are you?
I know it's probably not realistic because everything is so like monetized and corporate by this point, but I like the Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST. 3 was supposed to be a DLC for 2, and they spun it into. I like that of like spin-off.
Like it was so big, it just might as well be its own game.
The DLC got too big. They decided we're making it a game. I like the idea of spin-offs more than games. They're not going to do that because once you own Skyrim, you're in the ecosystem.
Right.
You're going to buy the DLC.
And they've talked about how they want to make
Dragonborn was a spin-off, they wouldn't have sold as much as they did.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They want this to be a platform. They've realized that Skyrim became a platform for mods. And I did a video on this like 2 years ago about how Elder Scrolls 6 might be the last Elder Scrolls because it could just be like Elder Scrolls Tamriel, and the first release is Hammerfell, and the next release is Orsinium, and the next release is Elsewhere, right? And it's the single player version of what they've done with ESO, where they just...
I'm going to say that's just ESO.
Right, but they keep on building out the world, they keep on updating the engine, and it becomes something where you don't have to make another major release to get big engine updates, because that's traditionally been the case, right? In the 90s, technology improved so quickly that you needed a whole new engine when you went from Daggerfall to Morrowind, and then the engine needed big updates to get to Oblivion and
instead of needing a spin-off to reset the engine and reset the game state, we just add on to what we already have because we're still using the same technology anyways.
Yeah, basically since Oblivion, that's what Bethesda has been doing, is that they've been just modularly updating the engine for every release from Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Starfield. And so what if that just becomes a modular platform where every release just is better, but it fits in that ecosystem? And once you buy any of those releases, now they can have a little pop-up that says, hey, have you played this yet? It might be a thing. I don't know. I don't know if people will like that idea, but
I'm not even opposed to that.
Is that different?
as long as each individual purchase is enough substance to be classified as a game of its own,
Right,
then I
right.
think that's totally accessible.
Yeah, I think the actual modularity of an engine doesn't seem like a problem to me. Like updating like incremental updates to the same engine across many games. Like I don't find that to be an issue at all. I mean, on some level that just seems like if, a good use of resources. Like if you have an engine that you can update instead of rehashing every time, maybe that'll keep the next games from being like 15 years apart.
Right.
Which
right.
would be awesome.
Yeah. So what if we got a quote unquote new game worth of content every 4 years, but it just worked in the same launcher?
Yeah.
What if you just launched Elder Scrolls and now you load it into whatever you happen to have bought? And
that doesn't really bother me. I don't know.
And what if it was stitched together? What if it was the equivalent of you could just keep traveling north in Oblivion in Cyrodiil, and then you cross the line and now you're in Skyrim. You didn't have to load the game. It just loaded into Skyrim.
Yeah. That'd be sick as hell. Falcon, you're very quiet. Do you have opinions on this?
Yeah, what do you think about this? I know this is a little bit off topic in some ways, but
I mean, in launcher, it's all the same game, just adding on. Call of Duty tried that and it failed. It sucked.
Yeah, but Call of Duty isn't. I know
RPG.
It's a separate. Yeah,
I know it's a separate thing.
Right.
But
right.
I didn't know they tried that. That's hilarious.
Games have tried that to be launcher every year is just an addition to be more of that live service.
But
BS.
it is what ESO does.
Which
it's
I
what
think
World
would
of Warcraft
be the
does.
falling is if they do make it the one launcher. Elder Scrolls would just be a live service. Elder Scrolls 6 or Elder Scrolls Tamriel, whatever, would become live service at that point fully.
Right. I guess the rest of the details.
Which I guess that then is back on topic to the episode of that
microtransactions. Yeah, maybe that would kill it. Yeah, if you were to do that in a live service sort of way with lots of microtransactions and lots of pop-ups and things that are annoying, then absolutely we're back on track.
It kind of has to be live service though. Now that I think about it, so now I'm opposed.
It also makes it disgusting and bloated.
Yeah,
to have it in one launcher.
I rescind my previous agreement. I hate this.
Call of Duty tried it. Its install got 200 something gigs.
Well, ESO is doing the same thing. They've had to cut it down and streamline it. Right. Yeah. So there is that. Or if it's modular still, then you just download the components that you want to be able to access.
Yeah. If they make it not live service, I'm still on board. But the moment that I see live service, I'm out.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a place where this goes too far, and it is a bad idea. Absolutely.
I stopped playing the Diablo games from Blizzard. I love the Diablo series so much, and the moment they introduced live service games, where that was they've always didn't have live service, but where they introduced that as the default and only, you didn't have any offline option whatsoever.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm done.
I think not having any offline option would be a bad problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get back on track,
it takes a lot away.
If you were to ruin the game, you would add in the need for it to always be online.
Yeah, live service would be the worst.
Live service, think of. Continuous launcher. I think both of those go
along with all of the microtransactions, all of the 20 different DLCs. Let's also release the game every 2 years.
Yeah. All right, so let's move in another direction. Let's move away from microtransactions and live service stuff, because that stuff feels pretty obvious. Most people are pretty against that. Everyone agrees. And the people who put up with it, they put up with it because they just love the game to the point where they just put up with it. So we don't want that. What else would you add? What else would you, in order to, what's a little bit less current capitalist, predatory stuff and a little bit more video gamey? What would you do with the world? What would you do with characters? What would you do?
And somewhere where capitalism hasn't ruined the world. We were playing in space.
Sure.
Call back to the pre-show chat. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, well, I would say this is technically what I would do to ruin the game, but it would actually make people buy the game like crazy. But I think it would ruin it. And that would be give a just deadpan answer to the Dwemer mystery.
Just answer the mystery. Heck, and even do it at the very beginning of the main quest line. It's not some side quest off somewhere.
I think everyone would buy the game if you did that, but it would objectively ruin the game.
I'd be upset.
that might kill 7, but the sales on 6 would be so big, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I almost don't want them to answer it.
I never want them to answer.
No.
It's important that they never do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid they will,
yeah.
but I don't know.
No, Todd has talked about this. So this is one of the things that he's like, yeah, we know the answer, but will it ever be released? Not while I work here.
Well, I do enjoy
that
they know the answer and they're not telling that.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah, like there is a solidified. So like if you work out enough subtext, maybe you can figure out the mystery, but we're never going to say it out loud.
Right? It makes it a lot tastier.
Do we think that's real? Them saying they know
the
an
answer? I think, okay, so
I don't know if I believe that.
Well, here, let me back that up a little bit. One of the things that Lotus and I have discovered over doing episodes, especially digging back into the earlier episodes, and looking at the old books. Remember when we were going through the books of like Daggerfall and that kind of thing? There's a lot of that lore that is very foreshadowing of other things that happen in games that came out like 15 years later. So there's a lot that they established back in the late 90s when they were like solidifying the foundations of the lore that predicted a lot of the things. In fact, the series of games and the releases and the locations of those releases were telegraphed early in the lore.
Yeah.
So answers to questions like what happened to the Dwemer, I think, have at least the foundations of an answer, if not every little nuance worked out. They have a sense of like, okay, this is what happened, and we're always going to hint around this, but we're also, we also understand the whole unreliable narrator thing, and therefore we're going to have people who got it wrong, who think they're confident about the answer, and so we're going to have some misdirection and things, but we know officially what happened in the lore, and that allows them the agility, I don't know if that's the right word, but the flexibility to write in and around that and not necessarily ruin anything for anybody, but also still be capable of telling stories with it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
a healthy amount of skepticism. You have to always leave room for doubt.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls 6, the dwarves all jumped in time. Barkeep posts in chat. Well, it's just solved. It's out there now. Okay, so what else would you guys add to just absolutely ruin the game? Like one thing that comes to mind for me is like, take out magic.
So we did almost like have like the hot takes thing, and I was thinking this kind of goes into that the custom spells that Oblivion had and all that. I think that introducing that is bad for the game, and I think that would be although I guess I do think it would sell well. It's the same thing as the Dwemer thing. It's like I do think it would make the game worse, but I do think people would buy the game more.
So you're saying bring back more of the crazy spell customizations and overpowered stuff.
I can see the appeal of that as like the end game. My character is the strongest being that known to man, and I am essentially a god. I'm going to start being able to like create my own spells, sure, but having that accessible as like just an everyday character like in the middle of the game just seems absurd, and it makes the game trivial, and I think the game is worse for it. Okay.
At some point you like, it's fun to be able to break things a little bit because it's a single player game. It's not multiplayer. There doesn't need to be balance in that sort of way.
If
but
you want
there's
to turn
probably
Minecraft
a limit
on creative mode and have fun, that's fine. But like I think as an everyday game experience, that should not be implemented. Like a default mode. Yeah. So I think implementing that would make the game worse. However, I think there are so many people in the world that would be enthralled by that idea that it wouldn't make it sell worse by any means. I guess there's so many different ways to look at that.
Oh.
Maybe.
It seems like, but wouldn't most people get bored with Infinite God?
Especially if it's you just stumble into it. If it's not something you have to like go down the rabbit hole of like somebody's Reddit post who figured out the one little trick to allow you to have infinite magicka or whatever, right? If it's the sort of thing where like by the time you're level 10, you're just destroying everything because you picked fire as a spell, like then there's no game balance there, right? It doesn't work. There's no challenge at all, which it might as well be, one of those like Chinese mobile games where you just hold down the button and it plays for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where my mind's at on that. I just think it would overall trivialize the game to where there's not much point in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in agreement. Okay, so here's another one. What do you think about this? Like from a lore perspective, the Daedra interact in the world, right? There's always quest lines for different Daedra and stories about people who worship them or go crazy or whatever. But the Aedra are always removed and almost feel aloof, like they don't even care or they can't intervene, except for things like Martin becoming the avatar of Akatosh or that sort of thing.
And the Nine Divines DLC for Oblivion, whatever that was. Yeah.
Right. The Nine Divines, like there's a little bit of interaction there. But what if they took that so much further and all of a sudden it's like all of the Aedra are active just like the Daedra are and they're showing up and doing stuff?
I was thinking on like the opposite end of that before we came to the subject of the show. Like, I wish on like positive things for Elder Scrolls 6 would be implementing the Aedra in a more forward fashion, but not so direct. But
No, I'm talking like they show up and walk around and are like, "Hey, everybody, we're back."
Well,
I would absolutely hate that. I would like to have
same
their
issue as
influence
Warhammer.
bigger.
Yeah.
and on a functional level, to me, that's one of the major differences between the Aedra and the Daedra.
Right.
Like, I don't know if the Daedra are all these pure beings of goodwill. It's just that you don't know.
Right.
'cause
And
they're
they
not doing
require
anything.
faith. Like that's
Right.
part of it, is that the Daedra don't require faith. They prove that they exist over and over again. But the Aedra, most of them, is like, does Julianus actually care that we pray to him? Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of having like the Aedric influences on the world be more prominent in the games, like having a priest of Akatosh be a very strong point in the game because he's a priest of Akatosh, not just that he happens to be one, for example, like having their influence be a bigger deal. But if we just flip that entirely and just said, nope, here's Zenithar right here standing in front of us. He's running the biggest shop in the world.
Right.
It's all about mercantile trade.
Zenithar's mall.
That would be
Mall of
the worst.
Yeah.
It's not MAUL, it's MALL.
Right. Yeah. It's the Mall of Zenithar. Yeah.
I'm on a search for the Mall of Zenithar.
Yeah, he's got his own Hot Topic shop too. And a Starbucks on the corner. Yeah. Yeah, that would be absolutely too far. I feel like that would go too far. I had another idea, just slipped my brain. Here's the other idea. I've talked about improving the combat in Elder Scrolls and making it more modernized. And I've used in the past examples of games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring and how much more fluid the combat is, how there's like a parry system and there's dodge rolls and things like this. And it just feels a little bit more fluid. Now, people misunderstood that. I definitely got comments where people were like, you can't make, if Elder Scrolls combat feels like Elden Ring, I'm out. That's totally too far. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, that's not what I want. I don't want it to play exactly like Elden Ring. I don't want there to be boss fights like Elden Ring. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I am saying is move it a little bit in that direction, the way that many mods do for Skyrim, where there's just like there's a parry system, or the mobility allows you to sidestep a swing and then stab somebody in the side or something.
Because we already have that more like that. With Morrowind, it was very hard to physically dodge an attack. You just had the dice roll system.
Or to hit things, yes.
And
cast a freaking spell.
Right.
But then when we get to Oblivion and Skyrim, it's like, oh no, you can like move your character to the side, walk back, and you can dodge the attacks much easier that way. You could technically do that in Morrowind, but like it was very difficult. And so like you did get more fluidity and more dynamics in combat with these new games. And if we continue that path and just continue to make them even more dynamic and more fluid, then yeah, I'm totally all for that.
Right. So to answer the question, like to fit in the topic of this episode, I would then say, make it play like Elden Ring. Like,
make it
100%. You know, like you get to the end of the equivalent of Bleak Falls Barrow, and now you're in a boss fight where you have to hit the guy 50 times because he takes little bits of health damage. And
you have to dodge roll 70 times.
Yeah, and he's massive, and he's like swinging across the whole arena. And if you don't time your iframes correctly, you get killed in 2 hits. You know, like that sort of thing. That would be way too far.
We should definitely keep dodge roll out of Tamriel.
Yes, I agree. I don't mind. I agree. I don't mind a back step or a side step, But
Yeah.
dodge rolling around and somehow that keeps you from being damaged I think is too far.
I love that
agree.
for Dark Souls and Elden Ring. That's their
Yes.
shtick.
Right.
Let them have it. We'll keep our happiness over here, you know?
Yeah.
It does need to be less clunky though.
Yeah. A lot of what
there's
happens
kind of an awkwardness.
Right.
Yeah.
And to your point, a lot of what happens in Oblivion and Skyrim is that you end up backpedaling. You hit things and then you back up, and then hit things and they come at you, you back up. And so the melee combat becomes just like try to catch me, try to catch me, right?
Yeah.
Especially at the higher difficulties because you can't take too many hits.
Especially in Oblivion, I found that was just I was stepping backwards constantly.
Yep. And then you end up back down the hallway, and then you finally kill them, and you have to go all the way back through the hallway to get to the next section of bad guys. Yeah.
I've brought up before that I was in a martial arts group where we practiced how to sword fight with actual swords, and we had a guy who would always fight that way, and it would piss everyone off. Everyone would get so mad at him and he would do very well, of course.
Yeah.
But he would just like go in, hit you, and then like run away, go in, hit you, and run away. And we're like, bro, what are you doing? This is not martial arts.
But
if it works.
It does work, but like he just looks like a scaredy cat the whole time.
Yeah.
but if I does a scaredy cat, then that's okay.
Right. All right. So here's another one. If we want to go down the combat side, instead of each of the games kind of has what feels like we've talked about this, the gravitational pull, like Oblivion's gravitational pull is like combat mage, and then the gravitational pull for Skyrim is stealth archer. What if they just double down on that and they're like, okay, well, this one you can only be a stealth archer. It's now a stealth archer game. There are no other options.
It's
else.
just thief.
It's just thief.
Elder Scrolls 6 Dishonored.
Yes.
Yeah, Dishonored. Right. I was trying to think of like what is it? Styx is the goblin one, I think.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a stealth combat game now. Like,
yeah.
I guess this is the same kind of thing. Like if they take it too far in any one specific direction without allowing the player to adjust how they manage combat, they've gone too far, and that ruins it. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean one way of sort of achieving that is by making all the mechanisms, all of the fighting mechanisms extremely not worth it or difficult compared to just one. You can kind of force that.
Right. Yeah.
If you just make one always the easiest option, then that's what everyone's going to default to, and you'll never see the other ones utilized.
Right. Everything needs to be viable.
Yeah. Where it's like one class is just way harder or way easier or way more awkward or whatever.
Right.
You just unbalance it all.
Right. All right. I got another one for you. All right. So when you're going in dungeons, there's always like little puzzles, or some of the dungeons have little puzzles. And like Skyrim, right? Like you got to turn the things with the different pictures on them and line them up the right way, and then the door opens or whatever, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And some of the complaints for Skyrim, especially back in the day, were like, oh, these puzzles are so simple. A toddler can do them. Why even put them in the game? And the obvious answer to that is having a scaling amount of puzzles. You have puzzles for some places that are very easy, especially some of the ones along the mainline content early on. So you do the video game thing where you learn how the puzzle works, and then you build upon that as people play through the game. And then you have some locations that are really obtuse that you've got to actually do some research, go talk to somebody, get some hints, or find a paper that helps reveal it so you can figure it out, right? And so you have this variety. But what if they totally mess that up and they're like, okay, well, you don't want easy puzzles anymore, and every puzzle is like the most ridiculous time-consuming thing. A similar example, not quite on the same caliber, is the lock-picking system in Starfield. I like the lock-picking system in Skyrim and in Oblivion because they're fairly quick. You don't always get them right, but they're fairly quick to do. But the one in Starfield, especially once you get to the harder locks, it takes like 2 minutes every time to pick a lock.
I think, didn't BioShock have that issue too with like lock picking, where like it was like its own separate little mini game, and some people loved it and it was just very easy to them, and other people just hated it, and it was like, oh no, I download a mod to disable that part of the game.
Yeah, because I can do the Starfield lockpicking, like I can figure out every time and get it right. I just don't want to have to spend 2 minutes to then open up a container that only gives me like a little tiny bitty things that aren't even that valuable. Like it's not worth my time to pick the locks. And so eventually I just stopped picking locks. But like the puzzle system would be kind of similar, except now you're gated out of content because you just don't want to have to stand there for like 20 minutes trying to figure out a puzzle that's really hard.
Well, I mean, they could bring back the old school like Sierra game, like the point and click adventure game, Moon Logic-y stuff, where you just need to figure out that you're supposed to use this, the jar of honey to make the door stick closed so
Right.
that your enemies can't come after you or whatever.
Right. By
And you
just
have to
brute
figure
force
that out.
trial. You just had to try everything in your
God,
inventory.
Sierra.
Just,
Yeah.
Do we want
and
to
you
bring
can't
back like
progress?
I'm guessing we all have experience with like old RPGs from the like early 2000s and late 90s where like Final Fantasy is a great example where you have the entire game of Final Fantasy and then there's like 3 points randomly spread throughout the game where the whole like method of the game stops and you're playing a different game now because you're stuck in this puzzle that they threw at you out of nowhere and you have to solve this puzzle so that you can go back to the normal game. Do we like that? Do we want to bring that back?
No.
Or
No, it would ruin
It to be integrated in the world.
Yeah, it would ruin the
I want
game.
my puzzle I like my puzzles immersive.
Well, they were kind of immersive because it was like, oh, I'm in this world and this puzzle's right in front of me. I have to solve it in order to go forward.
Yeah.
But it did kind of trap you where, and maybe they make it more optional. But I don't know. There's maybe it's mostly nostalgia talking. I did like an aspect of them, but they are not that good.
Interesting.
I guess.
It would be like if we did this like a regular episode of this podcast and like most of the podcast was about Elder Scrolls lore and then there was a 5-minute break in the middle where all of a sudden we talked about finance. And then we went, people would be like, why? This isn't why I'm here. I'm not here for that.
The next patron chat is just breaking down how credit scores work.
Right. Yeah. Or every patron chat once a month, there's an episode that's about, like, I don't know, flaws in the education system. It's like, what?
Your Roth IRA.
Right. Yeah. It's like, that's not what this show's about.
Top performing stocks of the last 60 days.
Right.
You just have like a segment.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got one more that comes to mind. I think this one would be absolutely terrible and also kind of hilarious. You guys talk about FMVs, right, in old games. I think it would be awesome if we had FMVs in like a cheesy sort of way.
So good.
Most people wouldn't get it.
It would be awesome.
But that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is you get to a certain point in the game and let's say they implement a puzzle and it is hard and you can't figure it out. And you mess with it for like 5 minutes and you can't figure it out. And all of a sudden a button says, boop, do you need help? And then you hit the button and then Todd Howard shows up and goes, hey there, having a hard time on that puzzle? Let me help you out. Here's what you need to do.
Clippy?
Bethesda Clippy.
With Todd Howard's face.
That's Todd Howard.
Clippy would be, that. I would buy that for $60 on its own.
Actually, that's a good idea for a mod.
That is a good idea for a mod. I would
download that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hate that.
Rob has strong feelings about this one.
That was very visceral feelings right there. I would never ever buy that game.
It says it looks like you've been trying this and getting the wrong answer for over 7.5 minutes.
Looks like you're a dummy who's never played an RPG before. Let me explain how skill points work.
My blood is boiling just at the thought of this.
Todd Howard doesn't. He shows up. He doesn't show you how to do it. He just
he just does it for you.
Yeah, it just works.
Hey man, it just works.
Teases you only.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the puzzle just like clicks into place and the door opens.
He's like, I can't believe I had to do that for you.
Yeah.
He addresses you by name.
Yeah,
Brancus Maximus or whatever.
Right. Like he knows your Steam account or whatever, and he's like, "Hey there."
Now I'm just imagine. Can
awesome
you imagine
guy,
that
74.
with Borderlands with Claptrap?
Claptrap shows up and does this.
Well, Claptrap was so irritating that would work. He could be Clippy.
God, that
could be Clippy. Yeah. All right, we're getting close to the end of the show. You guys have any other? I've been throwing out ideas because they've just been popping in my head. But anything else you guys want to share?
This is gold.
Good.
If somebody were to implement some of these ideas in mods, please let us know because that would be amazing.
These are horrendous ideas for an official game. Most of these are great ideas for a mod.
Especially if you just want to play through that's like feels ridiculous or is terrible, or heck, even a mod that like doesn't actually have microtransactions but simulates microtransactions with like pop-ups and stuff.
And it takes some of your gold from in-game.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
or some of your stuff even.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's mods like the Dagoth mod. Like,
Yeah, there's some of those do
get
ask us
that.
for gold.
You want that because you want to be irritated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There is an audience for some of that, but it's
Oh,
not the
yeah.
mainline audience that wants to spend full price on the game when it comes out. Yeah. Well, this has been super. This is like super fun, guys. I'm glad this topic worked out, and we've now completely demolished any possibility for Elder Scrolls 6 to be successful. So I guess we're just going to close down the podcast once the game comes out. But hopefully they don't do the things that we came up with this week, and actually the game
Everything
is
we
awesome.
mentioned, they're doing, so they're frantically rewriting.
Oh no! Well, maybe this is a warning to them. Maybe some developers like, hey guys, I just listened to an episode of the podcast. We need to change course real quick before we launch the game.
I mean, I was apprehensive of like the microtransaction, like, oh, how far are you wanting to go? I'm like, I don't want that to be public knowledge because they will hear that and they will take that.
Yeah.
How far I want to go and willing are very different.
Yeah.
Quoted sometime.
Yeah.
It'll be like, Rob the Princess 2026 said on May 28th.
You're going to be in a board meeting somewhere where somebody pulls up like a PowerPoint presentation and they're like, listen to this clip from a guy named Rob the Princess about how we can make our microtransactions work.
It's going to be it's a screen grab of you of like Gerald behind you.
With Gerald, yeah.
In a Bethesda board meeting.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right, guys. Well, here, let's go through everybody. And actually, before we do that, I've got to thank our patrons. Thank you to the patron. Thank you guys and the rest of our patrons for supporting the show, of course, every week. Patreon.com/Elder Scrolls Lorecast. If you'd like to sign up and get ad-free episodes and a bunch of other stuff and join us for chats like this in the future where you can come up with terrible ideas just like we did, sign up on Patreon. Also, shout outs to all of our Daedric princes, Kira C, Blinding Vision, Hirsine, Peter R, Austin B, and Mintaka. Thank you guys. And we've got a new review on Apple Podcasts, but it specifically mentions Lotus, and he's not able to be here this week. So I'm going to save it for next week because I think you'll get a kick out of it. I'll try not to forget. I'm going to bury it in my brain. Try not to forget. But there you go. And then, of course, you can share the show with your friends and things like that. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Rob, let's just go in order. Rob, anything you want to share? Ways people can reach out? Anything going on?
I'm an admin at the Robots Discord server. I am a guild officer for the PCNA ESO guild, technically speaking still. Rob the Princess, reach out to me if you want. Skype Living Room Project, any day now.
Yeah, I saw that they finished up the Alien Ruins recently.
Yay.
There was an announcement about that.
So excited.
The screenshot they showed looked really cool. So excited about that. Also, you mentioned ESO. In just a few weeks from now, I think it's maybe 5 or 6 weeks from now, we're getting the update that that gives us different levels of difficulty, like out in the world difficulty levels.
Yeah.
With like scaling with different amounts of XP and some other stuff that you get depending on the level you put it at. So that's kind of exciting. It's something I've mentioned before. I was like, some of the stuff I just walk past at this point. It'd be nice to have to engage with it.
Yeah. And I remember back in the day, they were talking about how that's impossible, and now they figured out a way to make it possible.
Figured it out. I have my suspicions. I don't know officially, but my guess is that it's tied to your character and specifically the damage you deal and the damage that you take. They didn't have to change the world. They just changed the scaling on each character in order to make it work.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have like, if you're on the easy difficulty and you have a damage buff.
Right. And it just kind of, it's like a per character thing, I think, which is cool because that kind of feels more like you mentioned Diablo. You raise the difficulty, you get more XP, but you also do less damage. So and it's a little bit harder. You take more damage too. So that's cool. Falcon, anything you want to share? Anything going
on? Let's see. Okay, so I work at a grocery store. This Nigerian man came in, had a list from his wife, took like an hour to find all his stuff. After I was done helping him, asked if he needed anything else. He pulls out another phone and says, my second wife has a list also, and had me follow him around to help him with that one. He had 2 phones for 2 wives and 2 lists.
Is this a real story or is this just a joke?
It's a real story.
This felt like a joke setup, and you were like, and then his third wife said, ha ha ha, and then there's like a funny punchline or something. That's weird.
That's not my wife.
It's hilarious.
That's really odd.
I mean, cool guy, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Congrats on the 2 wives. I don't know why you would want 2 wives, but okay. Like,
way too much work.
Not all
It's a lot of work.
Too much. Yeah.
But all
That's
right.
a lot.
Well, thanks for the story.
Yep.
Mintaka, anything going on you want to share?
I'm heavily involved at the moment with organizing a conference about constructed languages in Denmark. So if anybody's
Ooh.
interested in that type of thing, you can also view it streaming live on YouTube in July.
Wow.
It's July 10th through 12th. If you go to conlang.org, you can find out more about that. So yeah, if you're into fictional languages, world building, all that kind of stuff, kind of in there.
Very cool. Yeah, remind us again next month, because I think we'll probably do the episode and it'll be out before that. So it'll be actually really close to that date. So people might.
Yeah, and you can view it for free, streaming, and there's loads of content also from previous conferences. Anyway, yep. Thank you.
Very cool. That's so cool. Well, thanks, guys. And Lotus, I hope your daughter's feeling better. Hope you get some sleep tonight, buddy. I know it's been a rough day for him. Otherwise, he would have been here. But chat, thank you for being here as well. So happy to see you guys hanging out and all the comments and things. Really do appreciate that. All right. Well, Lotus and I will be back next week.
UESP page?
Random UESP page. You're right. UESP.com. I'm going to hit the random button. What? No, it's .org. UESP.org.
USP shut down, by the way.
Is it .net?
It is dead.
Let me see. What is it? .net. All right. It's .net. I go to the site all the time. I couldn't remember. Random page. Here we go.
It autofills for me. I don't remember.
Yeah, right. Like I think I probably just type UESP and like it just Googles it. I click the first link. Okay, this one is online. Elder Scrolls Online Quests, Imperial City Side Quest, Scouting the Elven Gardens. I don't remember this one. I probably have done it, but I don't remember it. Quick walkthrough. Examine the scouting board. Use the ladder works in the Alliance space to reach the Elven Gardens district. Raise the Alliance banner at the rally point. Pretty simple quest. I think it's part of a chain of other things too, but there you go. That one's not so interesting.
Yeah. In the Imperial City.
Imperial City. Yeah. I wonder if people still do the Imperial. Do people still play the Imperial City regularly?
I mean, I don't play ESO anymore, but back when I did, people were definitely, and that was only like 2 years at this point. They were definitely still playing tons of Imperial City.
Yeah, I have a feeling some people that's like their thing, and other people just never do it.
Yeah, well, I guess tons might be a bit of an exaggeration, but like, yeah, there's still plenty of people doing it.
Right, like fishing. Some people just love fishing, and the other people are like, yeah, I don't ever fish. You know, but it's an MMO. That's what they're for.
It's really difficult to quest in the Imperial City because everyone's killing you, and it's just so annoying.
Right.
That's the main issue for me about that. I don't love being randomly slaughtered, so it's kind of like I avoid the area.
But that's why you pick the days where, like, you don't wait for like the Pelennor White Strake event where everyone's in the Imperial City. You wait till it's nice and quiet, then you can go and do the quest.
Yeah. Or you bring some friends.
You gotta be white straked.
Yeah, white striked. On that note, don't get white striked. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. Check out robotsradio.net for more podcasts just like this, and join us on the Robots Radio Discord. Be part of a community of over 5,000 people who are excited about video games and so much more. Robots Radio. Games. Lore. Stories, community. Just press play.